Hello and welcome to the 15th. I think it's the 15th webinar in the masterclass series for Mondays, and today is meditation and mental imagery and the production of better mind chemistry. And I chose the word mind over brain for a reason. Now, start off with a quote. This is from a book that I haven't read all of. I've just read parts of it. I'm studying it. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. I know with conviction beyond all doubt that the biggest problem you and I have to deal with, in fact, almost the only problem we have to deal with, is choosing the right thoughts. If we can do that, we will be on the high road to solving all our problems. And of course, it's easier to have the right thoughts if you actually feel good. And to help you feel good, it helps if you actually have a plan on improving your brain chemistry. And today, hopefully, you're going to see the groundworks of that. You're going to see why it's so important and why just doing some simple stuff can be so incredibly powerful. Now, who's this for? Well, anyone. But if you have anxiety, asthma, cancer, chronic pain, depression, heart disease, high blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome, sleep problems, tension headaches, this is definitely for you. If you're an athlete looking to improve your performance, this is really definitely for you, because these techniques are actually used by high performers to perform at a higher level. Again, if you're looking to improve your ability at work, improve the running of your businesses, again, use these techniques, use what I have to plan out today. Now, the purpose of these webinars is to go from goal setting to goal getting and to help inspire you to more self-health responsibility, because I truly believe that if you are more healthy, you're going to be more at peace. And if you're more at peace, you're going to make better decisions, and that's going to have an effect on people around you. And maybe you're going to start affecting some influencers in the world and some leaders. And that's certainly going to help world peace, one person at a time. A little bit about me. I'm Chris Pickard, and you can slow this down and read that if you want to. Currently, we are living in a very sick world, and most people are actually dying of problems that they could avoid if they knew what to do. Or rather, they do know what to do, but they're just not doing it, which is why a coach and accountability can be so powerful. So it is no measure of health to be well adjusted to a profoundly sick society. Most people feel fine until they've got a disease that they're on drugs for the rest of their lives. But it is up to you to decide whether or not you avoid those drugs. It's up to you to decide whether or not you can get off of them as well, because most of the problems are lifestyle related, and it begins with the choices you make. So what we're going to cover today are the milkshake test, the chambermaid study, growing muscles with your mind, growing younger with your mind. And I don't just mean younger in your mind, I mean actually growing younger physically. Mental imagery that you can do, meditation, an easy one, the windmill of the mind, how to assess what's going on, and then choices to make. So if you want to change your thinking, you need better tools. As Richard Buckminster Fuller says, if you want to teach people a new way of thinking, don't bother trying to teach them. Instead, give them a tool, the use of which will lead to new ways of thinking. And I'm going to whiz through these. Some tools are the Magnificent Seven, health strategies, the fantastic Functional 3, functional movement, functional nutrition, and functional philosophy. And then what I'm covering partly today, the Mental Performance Mastery Program, and we are going through meditation and mental imagery, Pillar 6. And then there's the Heroic app, which I've spoken about before, if you want to improve your energy, productivity, and connectivity. The Heroic protocol, and last week I did the Soul Force equation. And there's a bit more about me. So the brain. It kind of affects everything else. It affects your gut, it affects your thyroid gland. Yes, it does. It affects your liver, and it affects all the cells of your body. Now, you can also turn all those arrows around. I can't actually do it with this, but oh, look, I can. Look at that. You can actually turn all these around and say that everything affects the brain as well. And I'm just going to go back to there you go. So today, let's start with the milkshake test. I'm not going to put up a picture of some milkshake, although maybe I should, because I do like a good milkshake. The milkshake test is quite simple, and my slides are even simpler this week. The milkshake test was this study group. They took a board, a signboard, and some people, and the board basically had two signs on it. One was saying, you know, what this delicious, incredible deluxe milkshake was. It's delicious and, you know, chocolatey or whatever it was, just delicious. And then there was the low calorie version. And they said, this is the low calorie version. It's just as delicious, da, 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 da. But basically, it was this one's super luxurious. This one is the low calorie version. And guess what happened when people drank the high calorie version? They felt more satisfied, they were fuller for longer than in the other group, and their blood sugar was higher. But guess what? The two milkshakes, they were advertised differently, but they were exactly the same milkshakes. And when they took people who had the low, well, not the low calorie one, because they were both the same, took the one advertised as being the light and the healthy version, and they actually gave them to different people, and they swapped the groups around, they found exactly the same results. If you thought it was lighter and healthier, then your body really wasn't as satisfied, but your blood sugar was lower. So your mind actually affects you right down to your cells, and even the amount of food, your nutrients you absorb. And this is something I learned about years ago. It was about the archetypes of eating. And it's like, if you don't enjoy the food you're eating, you will actually absorb far less nutrients. It'll be a far more stressful experience, and you will not get the same benefits and nutrition from it. So learn to enjoy what you eat, because it will change your physiology. And you can imagine yourself improving your food. Now, the next one is the chambermaid study. I think this was done at some hotels, or at least one hotel, one big hotel in New York. And they basically took some of the housemaids, some of the staff, and I think it was all women. And they basically told one lot of women, look, you need to do this amount of exercise. If you don't do this exercise, then, you know, you're not doing enough, basically. And the other group, they said, look, all this exercise you're doing, you know, changing the bed, going up the stairs, actually equates to all this amount of exercise. This is really good. If you're doing this amount of exercise, you can expect all kinds of benefits. And they tracked these women, these two different groups of women, over a period of time, and they found out that the ones that they told that the amount of exercise they were already doing was good actually lost weight. So they actually lost weight, and they actually had improved blood pressure as well, by being told that the amount of exercise they were doing was good and beneficial. So you have what you eat, belief in what you eat changing your blood sugar, belief in the movement you're doing actually changing your weight. Powerful stuff. And then living younger in the mind. I think these experiments were all done by the same person, or overseen by the same person. And basically, it was a group of people, I think it was men, and they were basically either they were put into an environment where everything was as it was like 20 years ago for them, and living as if it was 20 years ago. And within a week, the group that were actually living as if it was 20 years ago actually started getting younger. Their muscle mass improved, their fingers actually grew straighter, arthritis reversed, they stood taller. All kinds of biological changes happened because they were imagining themselves as being and living 20 years younger. It's incredibly powerful. And you don't even have to imagine 20 years ago. You can also imagine yourself lifting weights, and imagining yourself lifting weight for 20 minutes 3 times a week for a few weeks will actually improve muscle function, it will improve muscle tone, and it will actually improve muscle strength, certainly over the first 2 weeks. So if you are someone who's been injured and you can't exercise, if you're someone who's in pain and you can't exercise, imagine yourself doing the movements you can't do. It will help train those muscles. Very, very important. So let's put your brain to work. This is from the NPM Mental Performance Mastery Certified Coach Program. It's a simple process, and this is something when I'm working with clients one-on-one, we can actually build you this whole meditation and get you to speak it out and put it on tape, and then you listen to it. Or put it on tape. What am I talking about? That's old-fashioned. Put it on phone so you can actually do it yourself. The first few minutes is you want to relax yourself. So you can listen to something relaxing. You can do some relaxing breathing. You can actually record yourself doing a relaxing breathing instruction. Then you want to do confidence conditioning, so self-talk and affirmations, and it does depend on the type of person you are and your own belief about affirmations as to whether they'll work. So there are different ways to do it depending on how you respond best. Then there's mental recall. So if you're a bit unsure about self-talk affirmations, then leave it out. Then mental recall, going back to previous successes in whatever it is well, actually, it doesn't really matter. Just going back to previous successes, big wins, things that mean a lot to you, that really make you feel great, is very important. Then mental rehearsal. So this is where you're going over your next performance. So this is particularly good for people in sports and if you're going to a competition. But you can also use it to plan for your day ahead. If you know you've got a big business meeting coming up, there's an exam coming up, if there's anything that's coming up that's important, but also you can imagine yourself actually doing the exercises that you cannot do. And then you want to bring yourself back to the present moment at the end and then come back into your day. This is a nice, simple little routine, but it's really good. You can actually record yourself saying, take some deep, slow, relaxing breaths. And then you can actually say the affirmations and record it all. Then you can actually go through the mental recall and you can remind yourself of the things that are actually doing this. Then you can go give yourself a blank space for the mental rehearsal, because you might want to be using this for different situations. And then bring yourself back as well. And there's a process that we use. Again, if you become a client, we can actually create one of these for you. So, as well as mental imagery, there's meditation, and there's a number of different forms of meditation. There's also mindfulness, and mindfulness and meditation, they overlap as well. And practicing some kind of stillness or awareness about yourself creates many health benefits. Everything from gaining a new perspective, building skills to manage your stress, increasing self-awareness, focusing on the present, increasing imagination and creativity, increasing patience and tolerance, but also much more directly, if you're someone with cardiovascular problems, lowering your resting heart rate, lowering your resting blood pressure, improving sleep quality. And also, this was actually something I nicked from the same website about things that meditation can help with: anxiety, asthma, cancer, and improving how you feel about things, because it does actually affect your immune system, chronic pain, depression, heart disease, high blood pressure, irritable bowel syndrome, sleep problems, and tension headaches. All can be improved with meditation and the power of your mind in some way. And different types of meditation, according to some studies, actually affect different areas of your brain. I thought I had this larger. There we go. So mindfulness meditation actually improves your prefrontal cortex and parietal lobes. So these are the areas of your, for instance, your executive functioning, whereas compassion-based meditation improves your limbic system, which processes emotions. And different types of meditation will affect different areas of the brain in different ways. And so you can actually train and grow your brain, basically. And so a really simple meditation, something called the release meditation. So just go to YouTube, put in release meditation and Brendan Burchard, and you'll actually come across it. It's very simple. It's based on transcendental meditation. It's super simple. It's not at all, don't worry, there's no religious connotation, anything like that. It's just quite simply sitting down comfortably or laying down comfortably. It's best to sit comfortably, to be honest with you, and just saying the word release and doing that for 20 minutes. Very simple. And if you find yourself thinking something or worrying about something or starting to plan the day ahead, just say release. Just go back, quieten your mind. Just doing this for 20 minutes a day. Yes, you can do less. It has been shown to improve sleep quality, so you get more sleep. It improves the quality of your day ahead. You'll be more productive. So actually spending some minutes training your brain will make your brain do things better. Very powerful, very important. So now let's just go back to flipping the switch here. Movement and the mind. If you really want to improve your mind chemistry, yes, you can improve your mind chemistry by just using your mind, but also movement is absolutely key. Exercise stimulates the brain. Exercise will actually have effect on all these kinds of different areas of the brain: the cerebellum, the thalamus, the cerebral cortex, pineal gland, pituitary gland. Has an effect on everything. And it also has an effect on your hypothalamic pituitary axis. So that's things like your thyroid gland and your adrenal glands are worked upon. So it can help decrease anxiety, depression, decrease aging process, diabetes, obesity, trouble sleeping, high cholesterol. All these things can be changed by the effects of exercise on your brain. Not just the effects of exercise, but just the effect of exercise on your brain will actually change the things that exercise also helps with in more direct ways as well. And a lot of this is because movement switches off the stress response. When you don't move, it's actually like you're switching on or keeping the stress response switched on. So if you watch some bad news and you don't exercise, your body will stay in a slightly stressed state. So your ability to digest is decreased. Your ability to produce serotonin, one of your feel-good chemicals in your brain, is decreased. Your memory will not be quite so good. Your cellular immunity will be poor as well. And all kinds of other changes happen in the body as well. But when you start moving, it switches off the stress response. And the windmill of the brain, according to Nobel Prize winner Roger Sperry, is the brain. It's not the brain, sorry. The windmill of the brain is the spine. 90% of the stimulation and nutrition to the brain is generated by movement of the spine. This would be analogous to a windmill generating electricity. This is why so many people, when they come to us and they get work done on their spine, they actually feel better afterwards. They feel better within themselves because their brain is literally being switched back on again by spinal motion. Because you can do all the exercise you want, but if your spine is rigid, you won't get the same benefits on all of these areas. So get your spine checked and make sure it's moving fully. And as well as, of course, spinal movement, there is actual proper nutrition that most people think of, which is vitamins, minerals, etc. And guess what happens? And this was done in UK prisons. Guess what happens to violent behavior when you give prisoners a vitamin pill? Violent behavior decreases by 30%. They also did this in classrooms in inner cities, in classes where the children were particularly unruly. Just giving a multivitamin improves behavior, decreases violence in children, in adults. It's so simple. And why is this? Because the brain is the most nutrient dependent organ in the body. If you don't give the brain proper nutrients, it's going to be dysfunctional, it's going to get irrational. And this is one of the reasons why I think that self-peace and world peace starts with self-health. Because if you're not feeding your body and your brain the right nutrients, you will not behave as well as you should do. So, how do you assess your brain and what's going on, what you can do about it? Well, there are a number of really good psychological well-being scales, such as, I think this is actually from Harvard, But you can just type in psychological well-being scales, self-assessments, questionnaires, and they can help just by actually filling them in. Some people respond so well just by filling it in and seeing where they are. They actually start doing things better and thinking about themselves and thinking about their thinking. Whereas some people, of course, will actually not maybe go do so well. They'll actually start worrying a little bit more. So if you're someone that really loves investigating yourself and self-improvement, then go and do something like this. But as you may have realized, there's also the nutrition and movement. So where do you actually start when it comes to improving your brain and brain function and what's going on? Well, this is where one of the questionnaires that I use, the Cell Blueprint questionnaire, can help actually analyze where the weaknesses are in the body, where you and the brain and the nutrition and the cellular healing levels, so you can actually start working out what of these many different areas need work. And then to go deeper into the actual just brain nutrition side of things, there's something called the Braverman Nature Assessment as well, which basically, designed by Dr. Eric Braverman, helps show strengths and weaknesses in the 4 dominant neurotransmitters of the brain. So dopamine, which is one of your feel-good chemicals, but also helps you get up and go. Serotonin, so dopamine's a bit like cocaine, basically. Serotonin, again, feel-good chemical. GABA, calming, feel-good chemical, and acetylcholine, your thinking molecule as well. So if one of these is low in your nature, then it can show up as to where you need most support. If one of them is dominant, it also means this is where you need support when you get deficient in it as well. So it's a great questionnaire, just true or false answers, but it does need a little bit of skills in interpreting what it means and what to do. You can go to thepainreliefcenters.co.uk/brain-chemistry, and you can download a Braverman Nature Assessment and do one, and you can send me the 8 numbers and I will actually give you a little bit of feedback if I have time, or if you want to, you can actually sign up as a patient and then we can actually get a lot more done for you, and I will definitely have time for you. So what we covered today: the milkshake test, the chambermaid study, growing your muscles with your mind, grow younger with your mind, the mental imagery you can do, meditation, windmill of the mind, assess, and now we have some choices. Choices, there you go. Hippocrates. Illnesses do not come upon us out of the blue. They are developed from small daily sins against nature. When enough sins have accumulated, illness will suddenly disappear. So if you want to start building the right habits, simple decisions and actions will improve you to a happy future. But most people's simple decisions and actions, they keep on saying, well, you know, I'm happy as I am, I'm happy as I am. Whereas 95, well, actually, it's probably more 97, 98, 99% of people, they're actually leading themselves faster to deterioration. And drugs help keep them feel well while actually allowing their health to deteriorate even further. So they get more and more decrepit and see aging as a worse and worse thing. And as you start seeing aging worse, guess what happens? If you see aging as a bad thing, the milkshake test, the chambermaid study, and the living younger in the mind study should all tell you that what happens is you age faster because you expect that you're going to age faster. So if you want to really age well, you really need to get your brain on your side and start making simple decisions and actions that are actually going to lead to a healthier outlook. Well, healthier brain through a healthier outlook. So you have a choice to make. You can either remain in the sort of 97% who are going down the lower path, or you can take some actions and become part of the 3%, some of the healthy deviants, and actually build yourself a better brain with better mind chemistry. How do you do that? Well, you can follow all the advice that I'm giving, or you can reach out to me via either of the websites, and you can book the type of consultation that you want to start working with me at. The level that you want to start working with me at is where we will start, and depending on where you want to go will depend on the level of coaching that we put you upon and where you go. Okay, Well, I hope you found that all very useful today. I hope you're actually going to implement some of those things. And so next week we are going to cover, oh no, we're not going to cover next week. It's going to be about 3 weeks time, because we have a number of bank holidays coming up. So it'll be in 3 weeks time, I think, unless I do something by surprise. And in 3 weeks time, we're going to do routines and habits of excellence. So keep well, be well, and live long and prosper. And stick around if you want to ask some questions. I'm just going to stop the recording when I get there. Bye for now.